was expected to be a formal celebration for the new Premier League champions turned into the beginning of an unannounced nightmare for Liverpool. Right at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea turned the coronation into a real battlefield. Fierce, relentless, and full of fight, and in the end, the reigning champions left the pitch with their heads down. In the most intense match of Match Week 35, the Blues played as if they were competing for silverware, not merely chasing a top-4 finish. From defense to attack, every line of the team ignited. And standing out above all was Cameron Palmer, the brightest star in West London that night. This was the performance of a team hungry to rise, a squad that had been doubted, yet knew how to seize the moment. The sweet 3 points against Liverpool were not just a regular win. They were a clear declaration that Chelsea are ready to rejoin the race for Europe's elite. So, how did they do it? Let us look back at the way Chelsea dragged Liverpool into the mud right in the capital. The two teams entered the match in completely opposite mindsets. Liverpool had already secured the title and arrived at Stamford Bridge with the demeanor of a relaxed king. Chelsea, on the other hand, stepped onto the pitch with ironclad determination, as every point now mattered in their pursuit of a Champions League spot. That difference was reflected straight away in the starting lineups. Jurgen Klopp made as many as 6 changes from the previous game, leaving key names like Konate, Gravenberch, McAllister, and Szoboszlai on the bench. He handed starts to players such as Wataru Endo, Harvey Elliott, and Diogo Jota. On the other side, Enzo Maresca did the exact opposite. After fielding a second-string lineup in the Europa Conference League midweek, he brought back his strongest 11 for this clash. Palmer, Caicedo, Levi Colwill, and Nicholas Jackson all featured from the first whistle. And the decision paid off immediately. After a polite round of applause before kickoff, Chelsea gave the champions no breathing room. They pressed high, pushed forward constantly, and attacked both flanks without hesitation. By the 3rd minute, Stamford Bridge had already erupted. From a brilliantly timed pass by Palmer, Ben Chilwell burst down the right wing and cut the ball back perfectly for Enzo Fernandez, who controlled it in stride and fired a clinical strike into the net. It was a sharp, cold finish and the perfect opening statement in what would become Chelsea's commanding performance. Liverpool conceded early, but they did not panic. However, their usual energy and rhythm seemed to be missing. Meanwhile, Chelsea kept growing in confidence, turning their home ground into an unbreakable fortress. They deliberately slowed the pace, controlled the game with smooth ball circulation, and even goalkeeper Alisson Becker participated in building from the back. But despite all their possession, Liverpool struggled to create any real danger. The only faint chances came from individual efforts by Cody Gakpo. For most of the first half, Chelsea were the side dictating the tempo. Although the game tightened after the early goal, Chelsea were still in control. It was not until the 30th minute that the first corner kick arrived, and it belonged to the home team. That moment marked a renewed surge in pace, especially down the wings. On the left flank, Noni Madueke kept launching daring technical dribbles that left Liverpool's defenders scrambling. Unfortunately, the final pass or finishing touch was often lacking. On the right side, Neto continued to impress with quick, decisive runs. Nicholas Jackson also threatened at times, though he lacked composure at key moments. Still, the first 45 minutes belonged completely to Chelsea. They could have scored more, but going into the break with a 1-goal lead over the champions was already satisfying enough for coach Enzo Maresca. In the second half, the tide began to shift. Liverpool gradually regained control as key players were introduced. McAllister and Dominik Szoboszlai added sharpness in midfield and sped up their wide attacks. Connor Bradley brought new energy down the right wing, but Chelsea's defense stood firm. Moises Caicedo and Romeo Lavia worked tirelessly in midfield, while Marc Cucurella completely shut down Mohamed Salah. That defensive solidity gave the forwards the freedom to express themselves. Cole Palmer made the most of it. With the defensive base behind him, he was free to take on the role of creator. And he delivered. For someone once mocked as a one-season wonder, Palmer silenced every critic with this performance. In the 56th minute, he produced a determined solo run down the right wing. Despite being on his weaker foot, he delivered a pinpoint low cross. Noni Madueke was blocked, the ball ricocheted, and Virgil van Dijk's attempted clearance bounced off Jarell Quansah and rolled straight into the net. It may have been a lucky strike, but it was a goal that Chelsea thoroughly deserved after everything they showed on the pitch, especially the brilliant dribbling run from Cole Palmer, who continued to be the focal point of every attacking wave from the home side. Even though the chances he created after that did not end up in the net, the pressure he applied left Liverpool's defense in disarray. Chelsea could not finish the match early, and what was meant to happen eventually did. When the forwards waste too many chances, conceding becomes inevitable. In the 84th minute, just when the visitors were being pinned back, captain Virgil van Dijk stepped up at the perfect time. From a right-sided corner, McAllister delivered a pinpoint cross, straight from the training ground. Van Dijk made a smart run to the near post, rose above everyone and powered in a bullet header, giving the goalkeeper absolutely no chance. That goal to reduce the deficit made the atmosphere tense and electric. Chelsea dropped deep, deliberately handing initiative back to Liverpool. The visitors pushed forward, launching wave after wave of attacks on goal. In the dying minutes, the Blues were running out of both energy and personnel to mount any serious counterattack. Just when everyone thought it would end 2-1, the drama was far from over. In the 5th minute of added time, Moises Caicedo pressed sharply and stole the ball after a brief lapse in concentration from the opposition. The sudden pressing caught Jarell Quansah off guard, and in his hesitation, he stepped directly onto Caicedo's foot inside the penalty area. The referee did not hesitate. He pointed straight to the spot. Quansah held his head in disbelief. From 11 yards out, Cole Palmer stepped up to face Alisson. There was no fear, no hesitation, just a cold, composed side-foot strike into the corner. Alisson guessed right, flew at full stretch, but it only added to the brilliance of that shining moment from the English star. It was not the most complicated goal, but it was a fitting reward for Palmer's outstanding performance throughout the night, especially given the context he had gone 18 games without scoring. As the final whistle blew, Chelsea had defeated the champions Liverpool by 3-1 at Stamford Bridge. This win brought more than just 3 points. It delivered a massive boost to the team's spirit. Earlier in the day, Newcastle were held to a draw. That meant both teams now sit on 63 points, level on goal difference. Newcastle remain ahead only by virtue of scoring more goals. That sets the stage for a blockbuster showdown next week at St. James Park, a match that could decide who claims the final Champions League spot. Liverpool may have entered the match with a relaxed mindset after clinching the title early, but Chelsea played with absolute tenacity. The midfielders never stopped pressing, the defenders threw themselves into every block, and the entire team showed a winning mentality until the very last minute. It was not luck, it was the kind of relentless effort that deserves recognition. Chelsea are still juggling multiple competitions, but their top priority is clear: securing a place in next season's Champions League. And with a performance like that against Liverpool, they are proving they have what it takes to go toe-to-toe with any European giant, including Manchester City. And it would be remiss not to highlight Cole Palmer. The former Manchester City player was once dismissed as a one-season wonder, but that cold-blooded penalty in stoppage time, combined with a top-class performance from the first whistle, was a response that could not have been louder. Hopefully that goal will unlock something inside him and help him shine even brighter in this season's final stretch. Next up, Chelsea faced Newcastle in a direct battle, a match where a single moment of brilliance could decide who secures a ticket to the Champions League.